Look at a modern tennis match, and you see highly engineered carbon fiber rackets moving at incredible speeds. But strip away the technology, and the physical mechanics of the sport look entirely different. The exact origin of the game traces back to a French medieval pastime known as jeu de paume. The literal translation is the palm game. There were no strings, grips, or frames involved. Players struck the ball using only the anatomy of their bare or gloved hands, relying entirely on biological force without any mechanical leverage. To understand how tennis actually developed, we have to isolate the mechanics of the sport and ignore the equipment we take for granted today. Modern tennis represents a 500-year technological departure from this purely biological baseline. The transition from striking a ball with a hand to the sport we recognize took half a millennium, occurring through a sequence of compounding adaptations. The first critical variable is mechanical evolution, the physical changes to the striking implement itself. The second variable is spatial adaptation, the shifting physical environment where the game actually took place. We can track this exact trajectory by watching the player's hands move from bare skin to wooden bats, and eventually to rackets, while the court moves from inside a walled building to an open field. The structural identity of modern tennis can only be understood by looking at those two specific factors: what the players held and where they stood. The original French palm game was restricted by the physical limits of human bone and muscle. The first major shift to bypass that limit appears in the historical record around the year 1400. By that time, players had largely abandoned using their hands, replacing them with solid wooden bats. This provided the first rigid mechanical extension of the human arm, instantly increasing the player's reach and striking velocity. The hardware remained in that intermediate state until the 16th century, when the next major technological leap occurred. By then, the solid bats were replaced by fully realized wooden rackets, strung with animal gut. The addition of a strung surface created a specialized striking plane that could absorb and return kinetic energy more efficiently than solid wood. The 16th century racket finalized the transition from biological striking to a mechanical implement, completing the first major evolutionary track of the game's hardware. But having the modern tool did not mean they were playing the modern sport. We have to look at the environment. The newly established racket was enclosed within a severe spatial constraint, strictly an indoor activity. Hard architectural walls dictated everything: the ball's trajectory, rally speeds, and rules. Tied to these specific floor plans, the game's core mechanics saw little change for 300 years. While the mechanical evolution of the implement was finished, the sport itself was trapped inside an architectural box, waiting for an environmental catalyst. That catalyst finally arrived 3 centuries later, in the 19th century. It came from a specific individual named Walter Wingfield. Wingfield was a British Army officer looking for an accessible way to entertain guests. He took the established mechanics of the 16th century indoor racket game and moved them outside onto the grass. Removing the physical walls forced a total redesign of the rules. Without walls to return the ball, Wingfield defined new, painted boundaries to contain the play. This adaptation officially created lawn tennis, bringing the visual and spatial structure of the sport into the form we recognize today. Wingfield's spatial shift freed the existing racket technology from its indoor constraints, moving the established mechanics into a new environment. This split-screen matrix maps the full trajectory of the sport, charting the original French indoor palm game on the left against the outdoor racket adaptation on the right. On the mechanical track, the striking implement upgraded from the biological hand to the rigid wooden bat, and finally to the strung racket. On the spatial track, the play area expanded from the tightly constrained indoor courts of France to the open grass lawns of 19th century Britain. To complete this entire sequence, the process required nearly 500 years of iteration. Modern sports rarely appear through a single moment of invention. They are the cumulative result of compounding mechanical and environmental adaptations layered across centuries of trial and error.